There we go. Looks good. Going to test out the chat. See if that displays on the thing. Looks good. Yes, I am going to stream again. It's a beautiful day outside. Birds are singing, flowers are blooming. On days like these, kids like me should be burning in hell, so I'm going to stream Dark Souls 3 for a little bit to blow off some steam. Here we go. Check the volume here. Everything sounding okay? Doesn't look like the audio is coming through. Let me check over in my streaming software here for a sec because it's a little annoying. Let's see, allow transparency, limit capture frame rate, capture specific window. That's all working fine. What of the desktop audio? You ought to be hearing the music at least. Yeah, I don't think it's actually working. Let me see here. Audio, channels, device not connected. There we go. That looks a lot more like it's actually working. Alright, let me know if that's working okay. Perfect. Cool. How's the sound balance sounding to you? I've actually got my audio settings for this game set pretty low, so I guess I'll turn it up a little bit. Okay. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start from the ground up. My goal with this stream is to try and...
Yes, indeed.
Oh, right, the plot.
It is called Lothric.
Well, it looks like shit.
Where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge.
The Lords of Shit, you mean?
In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words.
Well, they'd better do a lot of digging, because...
The fire fades. And the lords go without thrones.
Dark Souls does indeed have a plot. More specifically, it has lore.
When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old Lords of Cinder from their graves.
Also snakes, if you played the first one. Big snakes with strangely human-looking teeth.
Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers.
How can all of them be a Lord of Cinder? Come on.
intrusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant.
Aren't there like 4 of them?
Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones.
Right. Right, that's where the 4th one is. Okay.
And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Well, I can tell this is going to be a really uplifting romp, can't you? Alright, time to make a character. And of course, it pays so much to put as much detail as possible into a Dark Souls character, because they will be wearing a helmet most of the game. Okay. So, I think I'll stick with male this time. Doesn't matter which age you pick, so I'm going to be an old man. So for class, I have tried out a few different builds in preparation for doing this stream. I've done a knight, I've done a sorcerer, a pyromancer, and a cleric. The thing is, every time I pick one of these classes, I immediately end up regretting it, because the playstyle that I eventually build is nothing like the playstyle that I want to work towards with these classes. Like, Sorcerer I did pretty okay with, and I got aggravated because I gave up a couple of really good items that I really would have wanted to keep. Pyromancer is fairly challenging, and deceptively so, because pyromancy in this game doesn't work the way it does in Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 1, you get an item called a pyromancy flame, and that's what you use to cast pyromancy spells with, and that's the only thing that it scales off of. In this game, pyromancy scales off of both faith and intelligence. Both these stats here, so it's actually fairly challenging to manage in the early game. You know, basically, if you get both of those to 40, you've got the best possible bang for the buck in pyromancy that you can get, and that's actually pretty challenging to do. Cleric doesn't get a lot of options until, like, midway through the game, because the first cleric merchant you can get is at the bottom, like, basically the entrance to reach them is at the bottom of a pit, and you have to be able to survive a really big fall. So what ends up happening is I end up taking one of these guys and just banking, you know, a strength dexterity build out of it. So why am I not just using one of these other classes then at that point? Why am I fooling myself into thinking I'm going to be playing one of these when really I want to be playing one of these? But I'm going to do something a little bit different to start out this playthrough. You'll notice that every class has a level associated with it, and that's how many levels they start with. Each level makes buying points in all these attributes more expensive. Here's a guy who's level 1, which means that everything is going to be cheap. And guess what? All of his stats start at 10. He has no bad stats. He has no especially good stats, but he has no bad stats. So I'm going to start as a deprived and take my chances with a plank and a wooden club and a loincloth. If I'm going to have to look at this guy, I might as well not have quite as much beef jerky covering him up. Burial Gift. This is an item that you get to start with. They are, unlike Dark Souls 1, no particular one of these is very overpowered. I'll go with the Life Ring this time. Give myself a little bit of extra HP. I don't care about his face. I don't care about his build. I don't care about his appearance. I just got to give him a name. What do we want to give? What do we want for a name? Everybody in the stream, what do you want? Yeah, I'm afraid there isn't a master key in this one. Otherwise, I'd probably take it. I always liked messing around with the master key in Dark Souls 1. You know what? I think you've actually given me a good suggestion for a name. Better yet. There we go. There we go. I'll try and take it a little bit more seriously than that. Okay, and let's try a face, at least something. Nah. Appearance. Can I take one of his eyes out? Can I actually do something to his eyes? To, like, have an eye patch? Nah, I don't think so. And so begins the adventure of Pliskin. Pliskin the Deprived. And where better for a Dark Souls game to begin than directly in the graveyard? Yeah, we're just dropping the pretense and starting you off dead. Good luck, guys. So as the Ashen One, we are a special type of undead. We have been, apparently at some point in the past, we attempted to link the fire and failed. So as a result, we are the Unkindled Ash. We don't turn hollow. Oh, what a rare start this is. There we go. Surprisingly good damage for a piece of wood. A Metal Gear Solid 5 stream. I do not have the patience for Metal Gear Solid 5. I enjoyed playing, you know, the meat and potatoes of what gameplay was, but I did not have the patience to navigate the lengthy series of missions and to try and advance further than a certain point in that game. Also, I'm really only interested in streaming stuff that makes sense from my PC. My goodness. It surprises me how easy this first batch of enemies takes it on me, because I would expect, being a deprived and being basically naked, that they would have, I would have a much harder time killing them, but I guess this club is worth more than I give it credit for. Plus, these are kind of tutorial enemies. Now, oh my god, I am already covered in shit. I haven't even reached Blighttown yet. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the resource management myself. It was kind of interesting at first, but So what's in this direction is a really, really big, really nasty enemy with an upgrade material. Seeing as we can't upgrade anything yet, it doesn't have a lot of relevance to me. And seeing as I can't spend any of the souls yet, the giant pile of souls I get from it also doesn't have a lot of relevance to me. So having a lower weight does make you roll faster, but it's kind of in thresholds. So if you have like 75% weight, you start doing what's called the fat roll, and if you get to like way beyond that, you start to be unable to roll at all. And now the bonfire, my precious lifeline. But, you know, below that threshold, I can't remember if it's like 2/3 or 75%, but below that threshold, it doesn't matter whether you're naked or armored. But there are people who like to do challenge runs where they just go through the whole game naked. We won't be doing that. We'll be using armor when we get a hold of it. But for right now, we'll enjoy the speed. Would you gain roll speed if you started at full armor and removed it all? No, you would not. If being at full armor caused you to have a low roll speed, then yes. If it did, but that's dictated by a stat. You can actually level up your stats such that you can do a fast roll in full armor. It is supremely challenging with certain types of armor. But you can get to a point where very heavy armor doesn't especially matter. Yeah, I've done this section a few times, can you tell? Basically just cleaning this out so it's nice and safe. Giving myself a little bit of a test run with this guy and his crappy weapon and his crappy shield. If I block with this thing, I am screwed. Already got that item. Drink up, because that's as good as I can probably expect to get. In this game, no matter which character you pick, they always start able to do a full speed roll. Like, even the knight can do a full speed roll. This game is way more generous with equip load than the other two, I think. And immediately start smacking this guy because he's alive. Welcome to the first boss, the Udex Gundyr. What language are we going for? Is it Latin? Is it Nordic? Nobody knows. Oh! Udex, what did I ever do to you, man? Oh! That was bad timing. Helps a lot if you play this like Bloodborne and kind of try to roll into him. That was lucky. And now there's a giant snake growing out of him. That was lucky. That was not. That was really not. Oh, man. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, I got a little too cocky. He is definitely harder than the Asylum Demon. Like, even if you just do a straight run on the Asylum Demon is definitely easier. And now we get to enjoy one of the little secrets of Dark Souls. If you don't need to fight things, You don't have to wake them up. I don't really gain any benefit from fighting all these guys again, except that I potentially risk losing more health. Like, this guy kind of introduces you to a new status quo in Dark Souls 3, where most bosses are going to have a second phase of some kind. If I can bait him into his jump attack. Yep! Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. Every damn time. Every damn time. What am I doing with this timing that's so different from what I did with the cleric? See, the last build I tried this with was the cleric. And the cleric starts off relatively better equipped. Like, the mace that you get with the cleric is one of the best strength weapons that you can get in the early game. This club obviously isn't, but basically if we can get past the Udex, then you know, it hardly matters at all how bad our equipment is right now, but the trouble is getting past him. Punch isn't too bad. I can tank a punch. And he's doing it again. Okay. Okay. I didn't equip my fire bombs. That's what's wrong. I should hit him with the fire bombs. A lot better. Oh god, no! Okay, good. I did a lot better with that guy than I thought I would. Did a lot better with that guy than I thought I would. Only took me, what, 3 tries on him? Got all my souls back. I'm at 3,000 souls. That's good. Good, 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 good. So my whole notion with this playthrough is that as a deprived, the world is basically my oyster. Ironically. So what I'm going to try and do is just play pragmatically. Whatever seems to be working out any given time, I will invest in that. Man, these early enemies obviously don't do a whole lot of damage because I'm not taking comparatively a huge extra amount of damage from them naked than I was when I was playing with something that had armor. I guess that's one of the realizations that a lot of Dark Souls players end up having, is that armor doesn't save you from everything. And that's why naked character challenges are so frequent. I wonder if this does do something for your stamina consumption. Like if you consume less stamina when you have less armor. That might actually be the case. Might. So up those stairs is a guy who I don't particularly want to fight right now. If I kill that guy, then I can summon him in the first real boss fight. In addition to that, I get his armor set, which is probably mildly better than what I'm wearing right now, and his weapon, which is the vaunted Uchigatana, which is a fairly popular weapon in a lot of Dark Souls playthroughs, due to the versatile way in which it swings, I think. Bad dog. See, I always look at these guys and I'm like, man, they took the dogs from Bloodborne. And they just hollowed them out. The Bloodborne dogs are actually, I think, a tiny bit more vicious. They're a lot harder since you don't get a shield. But basically in Bloodborne, they've got these frickin' Irish wolfhounds on steroids. And now on into the Firelink Shrine. Why take the senseless risk of fighting that Swordmaster guy when I've got a Firelink Shrine to plant myself here?
Welcome to the bonfire, Unkindled One. I am a firekeeper.
I cannot read Japanese at all, so I have no idea what you're saying there in the chat.
The lords have left their thrones and must be delivered to them.
Cannot read Japanese at all.
I am at thy side.
I wish that I could.
Very well. Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Oh god, yeah. I can level up so much now. What do I want to pick? Well, arguably, I'm not suffering in any meaningful way yet, so I'm not going to level up at all.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death.
Well, pleasure to see you too.
Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their molding thrones.
Uh-huh. Are those the thrones?
True legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think?
So if you're so worthless, why don't you give me your armor? No, really, give me your armor. Oh god, I almost uppercutted that guy. I didn't realize this thing had a weapon art. Okay, so this guy is basically the crestfallen warrior from the other games. So, in case it wasn't clear, and the game does signpost you with it a lot, so it's hard to miss, these thrones are the thrones of the Lords of Cinder. You need them in order to link the fire. Linking the fire is good, supposedly. It keeps the world from ending. Only the Lords of Cinder decided, nah, we don't want to sit on those thrones. They're uncomfortable. Kind of irritating. Except that one. Who the heck are you? I don't think you were in the intro. That one is the throne for Aldrich, who is a giant puddle of ooze and thus unfit to sit on a throne. This is Ludlith.
All that unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludlith of Corland.
Ludlith, sorry.
Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder.
Well, that's nice. Is that where you got the crown?
Be thy want. Set thine eyes upon my charred course. This sad cadaver. No need to be coy. Have a closer look.
Well, at least he seems friendly-ish.
Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast-fading flame must be licked to preserve this world.
Ah!
A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is. I became a lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a colossus. Now, do not be away overlong.
So, now that Ludlith has explained everything I just explained, Ludlith is a guy who we're going to come back to fairly often later on, because he has the ability to make boss weapons. Basically, you bring boss souls to him, and that gives you the boss weapons. It's much easier to get the boss weapons in this game compared to Dark Souls 1, where you had to take... you basically had to take and forge them from the ground up with regular weapons.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One.
Nice to meet you too, lady.
I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine.
Aren't you that bitch who taunted me in the beginning of Dark Souls 2?
Trinkets and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me, as is thy wont. No?
You're giggling. Why are you giggling? Aren't you going to taunt me about losing all of my souls? You're going to lose your souls. All of them. The best Soulsborne
Ashen
game.
One.
So I actually wrote a Quora answer on that one. I had a very specific opinion about which Dark Souls game that I thought was the best. And I kind of split it between this one, Bloodborne, and Demon's Souls for different reasons. All 3 of these games give you something different, is how I feel. And they each do their specific thing really, really well. I'll talk to Andre of Astra here in a moment, but... So, Dark Souls is kind of the gateway drug game. It is the most mass-market attuned version of the Soulsborne formula that you'll kind of find. It's very accessible in that you have a big variety of different build options. You've got sorcery, you've got pyromancy, you've got just straight-up brute force kind of ways of doing things. There's really no wrong way to play Dark Souls except the way that isn't working at any given time as you attempt to go through the levels. And you can adjust your build on the fly very easily in order to deal with the challenges that are in front of you. Bloodborne is basically what happens if... Sorry, bumped the mouse there for a sec. Bloodborne is what happens if you take the Dark Souls formula and you take out the shield, which is your main way of kind of getting through, unknowns. You basically always walk into a room with this thing up and try to use it anytime you're not certain of anything. You take away that uncertainty, you take away the magic system, you take away everything except brute force combat, and then you give all of the movesets way more variation with the trick weapons and things. And that is Bloodborne. Bloodborne is all about this interaction, where you switch from two-handed to one-handed kind of stuff. And then you have an equivalent of parrying in using the guns. And it is much more fast-paced, it is much more frantic and twitchy, and it just delivers a lot more of the raw combat better than Dark Souls could ever hope to. Demon Souls takes the exploration aspect of it, where you are delving into these intricate and extremely hostile environments, and they all have very peculiar and idiosyncratic challenges to them. It is the game that is all about the shield, right? It is the game that is... it is the game where you are trying your best to get a handle for the environment and what it's throwing at you, and no two combat scenarios are quite the same. It is less formulaic, it is less consistent, and therefore the most interesting environment to kind of explore, I think. But it also has the least refined overall mechanics. It is the least accessible of them, because it was kind of the first and the roughest. The moon grass is definitely not as good as the Estus flask. And it's got fewer overall bells and whistles to it compared to playing Dark Souls or Dark Souls 3. And each of the other Dark Souls games you can make an argument in favor of as well. But I think between Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and Demon Souls, those three, kind of a three-way tie of which one's better. And it has come to my attention that I have not actually rested at this bonfire. So I might as well plant the stick and get my fire on. So, in answer to your question, Ethan, I believe it is. In answer to your question about the non-Dark Souls games, Demon Souls and Bloodborne, those, I think, are licensed through Sony. Bloodborne, I know, was licensed through Sony. They specifically sponsored that game as a killer app for PlayStation 4. Demon Souls had a similar thing behind it, whereas Dark Souls is published through Bandai Namco, and therefore has much looser rules on what platform it can go on.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine.
Ah, yes. Andre of Astra.
Forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust?
Indeed, Andre.
A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith. Such is my purpose.
So, Andre is a leftover from Dark Souls 1. Somehow, through the ages, he has come here to the Firelink Shrine. He is the one and only smith, whereas Dark Souls 1 had smiths all over the place, and each one had different specialties. Now you can just go to this guy and have him do all the smithing. Unfortunately, I don't have any Titanite, or else I would reinforce all my weapons, so not much of an option at this juncture. He can also reinforce your Estus flask if you have an Estus shard. That's carried over from Dark Souls 2, which makes the Estus flask a lot more limited.
Prithee, be careful.
And you get what's called the Ashen Estus flask, which is for MP. I don't have anything that consumes magic right now, so there's not much point in not putting all of my Estus into the regular old Estus flask. I also don't have anything that I can really purchase from him, so let's talk to the old crone.
Ah, well, how may I be?
She has lots of things for me. Lots of really good options, in fact. Sorcerer's Staff, I will probably want one later. Torch, yes, get a torch. Large leather shield, that is a great option. Pants, I definitely want those. Chain armor, yes.
Ashen one.
Let's equip those, and definitely improve my survivability. Test the roll. Still got a decent roll. Good. Let's test the shield now. The large leather shield is a lightweight but still pretty good shield. It's got great stability. So I tend to like it in the early game. Yeah, I know how you feel there, Ethan. I would much prefer to play virtually any game on PC right now, especially for streaming. I would love to be streaming Bloodborne, but, you know, I'm not too terribly into setting up streaming via PlayStation 4. There's nothing wrong with it, necessarily, but I like being able to customize my stream with things like this chat interface and stuff. Okay, so this is a much better setup in terms of my survivability. Now for weapons. I can't use the scimitar, I can use the short sword. So the short sword it is. And if I've got one last thing I'm going to do, it is gloves.
Ashen one.
Oh, what is going on here? My controller keeps going in and out. It might be because I've got that plugged in plus my headphones into the same thing, but let's get the short sword in. So, something to note here is that all of your weapons and shields that you've got equipped, you know, you can alternate them by using the D-pad here. All of those will take up weight. They will all add to your equip load. So, it is good to have as little as possible equipped. So if you've got one weapon and one shield that works for you, stick with it. If you've got like a Sorcerer's Catalyst or something, you can throw that on with relatively no pain. But otherwise, switch things out situationally between battles. And now I don't especially have anything to lose, so I might as well rest at the bonfire, come to think of it, before I try taking on the Swordmaster. But I've basically spent my first allotment of souls. But you can see that I've already overcome the first big weakness of the Deprived, which is the armor. The chainmail is not the best armor you can get, but for early game it is workable. We'll get better armor pretty quickly. But I have started off with better overall stats. Oh, that is so much faster now. So much faster and so much cleaner. I have started off with better overall stats than any of the other characters would give me. And now the Swordmaster, and this guy is a giant dick. Don't use your shield against him. Whatever you do, don't use your shield. That's a trap. Again, you want to play against him like it's Bloodborne. You want to dodge behind him while he's overextending himself. Because he will overextend himself a lot. Oh god. But he'll also kill you immediately if you get caught in any of his combos, and he has much better HP than we do. So killing him might take a few shots, is the problem. But if you do kill him, then he drops really nice early game equipment, and now I can't go out that way again. I don't know what the deal with this fog wall is. Every now and again, a fog wall goes up. And I don't fully understand why that fog wall goes up. But it prevents you from leaving unless you go out a specific exit. I didn't lose terribly many souls for that to be of any import, so I'm just going to go straight to the High Wall of Lothric. Also, like, different from Dark Souls 1, you start with the ability to teleport between bonfires. And that's something that they made standard since Dark Souls 2, since it kind of untied their hands in terms of the level design. Dark Souls 3 takes a sort of a balance between the Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 methods of level design, where Souls 2 was basically, you know, one big linear trek, and Souls 1 was a lot of interconnected areas. So now, let's get into the game proper. Like, Souls 1 was almost Metroidvania-like, and this has certain aspects of that. Oh, yes. We have some walking to do. But it's not as hung up on making you do backtracking and walking across different areas. One big tip for the early game, don't get too hung up on losing souls, because it just doesn't tend to be that constructive early on. Same with grinding, actually. I find grinding is very unrewarding in this game. It is much better to move into the next area and get a big pile of souls from more powerful enemies than it is to fuss over good old backstab. Backstab has never been as useful as it was in Dark Souls 1, but on the other hand, it does make the game a little bit more enjoyable, and it does make the backstab a little more rewarding. But yeah, if you move into the next area and go for stronger enemies, that tends to yield you more souls quicker than going over weaklings who give you very little. And a part of the reason for this is that every level you buy gets more expensive, incrementally. Yeah, we see what you're going for over there. Come on. I've played Dark Souls. I know how this works. Oh, apparently I don't. Oh, but apparently I do. We won't be getting through that door. We will be getting that item, though. This is the first time I've ever played a Deprived. And already it feels kind of like, kind of easy, actually. But I guess I've played through this part enough times. Relative to early game, this batch of weaklings gives you some free souls, so you might as well take them. What's the best Castlevania game to start with? Ooh. Ooh. I'm kind of a casual Castlevania fan, to be honest, so I'm not sure that I have the best overall opinion, best recommendation to give. My first really big foray into Castlevania was Circle of the Moon on Game Boy Advance. And that one's kind of like Symphony of the Night Light. This dragon crunches if you walk on it. Just a big dead drake just sitting here. Big dead wyvern. Symphony of the Night and the original Castlevania both offer very different things in terms of what you get playing them. And even then, I'd argue that some of the later games do a little bit better with the Symphony of the Night formula than Symphony does. Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow are both pretty big favorites. That's the one where you play Soma Cruz. Symphony of the Night? Yeah, that's the one where you get What is a Man? A little miserable little pile of secrets. If you want the grand introduction to Metroidvania, quote-unquote, then that's the one you probably need to play more than any other, as it kind of goes kitchen sink with itself. That's the one where you play Alucard. Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow are the ones where you play Soma Cruz. And the story about him is that he is actually the reincarnation of Dracula. And he is given the power to absorb the souls of monsters and thus gain their powers. So he has just a generally more rewarding mechanic than Alucard does for going through the game and gaining abilities, where you are more prone to want to explore and more prone to, you know, want to try and find new enemies. Whereas Symphony of the Night is much more straightforward and just, you've got... I'm just going to go ahead and take these guys. Okay, I do not have the balls for this. Let's go up the stairs. Oh, I don't have the balls. I really don't have the balls for that. Enter Miyazaki's favorite. Putting a dragon in the first level. Better on average, huh? I would argue that Metroid is probably better on average because it has a very less is more kind of philosophy. Every power in Samus's arsenal is designed with a specific purpose in mind. Castlevania can get kind of clumsy. They'll give you powers for the sake of having powers. And go on through here. This is the most forgiving dragon that the Dark Souls game has ever had. But he's still a frickin' nightmare. You won't be killing him anytime soon. He's not like the dragon in Dark Souls 1 where you can shoot his tail forever. Like, the big weakness with Symphony of the Night and the Sorrow games both is that there is a very clear divide between the powers that are just for combat and the powers that are for combat and navigation. So you'll get the double jump, you'll get the big sky jump that plants your face into the frickin' ceiling, you'll get the dash power, and none of those have any relevance to combat. They're all just navigation powers, and that's all they're good for. Oh! Oh! I was waiting for him to come out there, but he came out from over there. Oh, man. That is the most embarrassing death ever. You caught me monologuing. Oh, you. Oh. Where the heck was he hiding? Alright. We know how this goes then. We didn't wake those guys up. Okay, he didn't. Those guys with the lanterns basically just scream and wake everybody up. As I was saying, so you've got all those powers that transparently exist just for navigating the environment, and then you've got the combat powers, which never are used to navigate the environment. Metroid combines the two together in a much more elegant kind of way, where every power you get is both a key for a lock and also something useful. And run, 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 run. Stab. Very good. Yep, the enemies get Estus too. They're all undead, so they can do that. Yeah, you won't survive that one, will you? Top 2 or 3 Metroid games. Depending on who you ask, some people will prefer... Ah, I see you now. I see you now. We're not ready to take that guy on, so we're going to just go right in here and be ready for an ambush. Top 2 or 3 Metroid games. Some people are going to prefer the Prime series overall. Some people are going to prefer the 2D ones. The 2D ones... generally, people will pick Fusion and Super Metroid as the gold standard. For my money, I was more of a Metroid Prime fan, but they both very much have the same spirit. It must seem really weird to see me just jump down and anticipate the ambushes. I'm just diving right into these guys and killing them. Down there is a cell we need to unlock, but we do not have the key to unlock it yet. There is no point in going there. I do have 2,000 souls, so I should think about using them. Our goal right now is to try and unlock access to certain areas and commodities. We need better equipment. We need more options. We need to kill that guy right now. Oh, damn it. Not how I wanted that to go. You can kill those guys before they burst into horrible inky blackness. But sometimes you just don't manage it. Ah! I hate this balcony. We need access to shortcuts. There's a lot of things we have to do. So the strategy that I take in dealing with these areas is what I call the bonfire blitz, where I try to go for all the bonfires and try to go for all the shortcuts as soon as I can. Because once you open up access to so many things, it gets a lot easier to set goals for yourself and accomplish them. That includes any kind of farming you want to do. That includes getting specific weapons and specific commodities like the embers for the, or I should say the charcoals in this game, for the blacksmith. Access to the bosses becomes a lot easier once you've kind of marked out your territory. So I'm kind of skipping through a whole lot of areas and a whole lot of enemies that I could be killing just to get at some shortcuts. This guy included. Fuck this guy. I don't need to kill him. I'm not going to kill him. He is way too big for my britches right now. Bottom 2 to 3 Metroid games. Almost everyone will probably tell you that Other M is like among the worst, just for the sheer assassination of Samus's character. It compromises a lot of... oh dear. It compromises a lot of things in the Metroid formula that nobody particularly wanted compromised. The original Metroid is much beloved, but it is also a very old game, so probably not as fun and as accessible as the other ones. This is an ambush. Ah, screw this. Nope, not today. Ah! They're killing themselves falling down the pit. I love it. Here's what I'm talking about. The shortcut. You know where this leads? Trouble. That's where it leads. But beyond merely being trouble, it also leads to the first bonfire. We're almost directly outside of it. Damn it. I can't catch a break. Oh, come on. Those guys carrying the great axes continue to be a big problem until mid-game. Zero mission. Oh, man. Dogs. Oh, okay. I don't have nearly enough stamina for my liking. Halberd Knights, too, they get to be a big problem. The stronger you are, the easier they are to take down. If you can make them stagger and flinch at all, then it's a big help. But basically, that right up there, that's where we started. So now, instead of having to take that whole path all the way down and go through that murderous black ooze snake monster, I can just start up there and take the elevator. I have to go through that ambush, but that ambush is preferable to the horrible snake monster. The Pus of Man is what that thing is called. See that thing? That had the Pus of Man. It was going to turn into a giant, horrible snake monster. You'll see them worshipping these trees. Except, that's not really a tree, is it? Free souls! Believe that there is something back here. Did I get it already? I must have gotten it. So now I've got a longbow. That opens up a few options. It's very easy for me to remember fusion, but not easy for me to resemble zero mission. Now we've got this crossbowman. And now we are back at the first bonfire. We've opened up this area, which puts us in good standing. Let's go right on back to the Firelink Shrine. I maybe should have tweeted or something that I was going to be doing a stream. Might get a few more people watching this. Remake of the first game. Ah, yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. See, I don't need to buy any more stuff.
Welcome, speak then.
I need to level up.
Well, then taken.
So I'm running into problems with my stamina. So let's up that a bit. Let's up my... Let's up my vigor. so I can get more HP.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
So now I'm a little more durable, and I can do a few more swings with this thing. I want to try something else. I want to try something. So if I take all these off, that takes about half. Okay, so that's about the same. So armor does not affect how much stamina you consume when you are swinging your weapon then. Now, what else could I be doing? I could try to take on that guy out there again, but I'm not going to have the abilities necessary to... No undead bone shards, okay. I'm not going to have the abilities necessary to take him out for a little while. Or at least not the weapons that I would want. I need more reach for this kind of thing. I need to be able to outreach him. So I'm going to go back down here. Because there's a whole area that I skipped. But now that I've gone ahead and prioritized the bonfire and the shortcut, I'm a lot less tied up in knots over how much progress I'm making. It's this kind of thing where I've staked my territory. Oh, hey there, Jean. I've kind of staked my territory, and now I'm free to do whatever. And since I don't have a key, there's not really any point in going after that guy. Oh, there's an item in this. Can't believe I missed this one. Ah, yeah, I forgot. I've got probably a ton of those items that I'm not using yet. Ooh. Clink. Still good. Roll. I look like a tool wearing this thing. I look like an absolute tool. But, you know what? Any amount of armor is better than no amount of armor. So the big question is, can I take that guy? Do I have a weapon in my inventory at all that'll help me take that guy on? I do have a couple of things that can help me, actually. First, I got these fire bombs. If I screw up and that guy starts coming after me, I can use this fire bomb and he will take a ton of fire damage. Got him! Oh, yes. Now, the thing is, if you kill that guy after he transforms, he can drop some pretty sweet loot. But it's also really hard to kill him after he transforms. The reason I wanted to get rid of that guy is so that I could come down here and go after this guy. Some version or another of crystal lizards appear in every Souls game to date. The idea is always the same. You kill them, they give you fat loot. These ones don't disappear permanently like the ones in Bloodborne. And I forget if the crystal lizards from Dark Souls 1 disappear permanently, but basically if you miss out on them in this one, you get a chance to go back and get them again. Kill you. Kill you. You're not dead! No! He shot me! Yeah, I'm going to be streaming for a little bit. I'm kind of blowing off some steam after a little bit of a rough couple of days. I should still be here, probably. My hope is to get through the undead settlement, I think. Whoop! Didn't mean to throw that. Meant to use my Estus. So now we'll go right on into the keep. Classic! Another classic. Guy in a pot concealing another guy who's not in a pot. All of the classic Souls tropes are in this keep. I feel like I should have a name for areas like this, which have a purpose going through them one time. Looks like that guy screwed up trying to climb up here. Usually there's a guy who climbs in there and tries to get you, but sometimes they mess up. Are there any other items laying around? Maybe in these? No. No. Am I sure there are no items in this? No. Okay. So right there, there was a purpose to going into this room one time. Never again is there ever going to be a purpose going in here. Maybe I should call them nooks. These are Lothric Knights. Just like that guy with the sword who ganked me earlier. This one's got a spear and a tower shield. And he's being particularly obnoxious here. Okay, my usual dodge into him strategy is not sufficing this time. If this guy were any nastier, I'd be dead. Hard to get a good hit on him with a weapon this short. Aha! That strategy is easier with a hand axe than it is with a short sword. I don't always get the backstab, but if I can get behind him, then he's not that tough. Yeah, I know about you. My first playthrough this game, that guy got me every single time I came through here. SM64? Are you talking about Superman 64, or are you talking about Super Mario 64? Oh, here we go. Ha! Upgrade. Little bit of a nicer sword now. This first area is a pain. Absolute pain. I don't believe you. I don't believe that you love Superman 64. I know that you love Superman because that's your icon in the on Quora. Damage is not much better, but the reach and the heavy attack are a bit nicer, at least for my money. So if you don't kill those guys immediately, both of them can come and throw knives and firebombs at you while you're down there. That gets to be a pain in the just a real nasty pain. So now the problem. That guy's got a great axe. That guy's got a great axe. There's a guy lugging around a halberd somewhere down there. There's the dog. Yeah, there's the guy with the halberd. There's another dog down there. The best thing you can do is pull one of these guys at a time. Because one of them at a time is manageable. Oh, really? Come on. There we go. Also, there's exploding barrels in the middle of the room. The way that I learned about that was one time when I was using a fire axe. And, well, those explode when you're using a fire weapon, too. If I had better capability to aim a firebomb, if I could, like, pinpoint these guys, or if I had, like, fire arrows or something, then I could take them out no trouble. Of course I've played Super Mario 64. I played it on release. I was around in 97 and 98 when those games came out. I also played Super Mario 64 on the DS, and I was surprised at how well it actually holds up. I'm a bigger fan of Mario Sunshine, actually. But I do know what you mean. See, that leads to the same area that I tried to get through with the fat guy. That's a Titanite shard. I can upgrade weapons with this. And then there's these guys. Those two together are a nightmare. Project 64. What's Project 64? Is that a mod? Like a restoration or an emulator thing? Oh! It doesn't go much better than that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh! Oh no, the barrels. Oh no. Estus shard, great. Got you, got the cell key. Perfect, that's what I came here for. Make sure there's no items here. No matter how many times you play this, you always have to check the nooks and crannies to make sure you didn't forget an item. That's how many things are hidden throughout the environment. I got a way through here so I can drop on top of that guy if I feel like it, but wish you had money for a gaming PC. So let me ask, if you don't mind my asking, how old are you? You don't have to answer that, but... Secret! Green blossom. Secret! Not much of one, though. Oh! Never mind, it is much of one. It's got another sword. 15, okay, yeah. So your disposable income for getting a gaming PC is not going to be amazing. And finally, the first weapon that I want to use but can't. So weapons in this game have requirements. They're listed at the bottom. Actually, what are the requirements for this one? 10, 10, 12 for faith. Oh, that's why. They have requirements and they have scaling factors. So if you look at bring up the cursor for this, that's strength, that's dexterity, that's intelligence, and that's faith. 4 stats, all basically set up for one version or another of scaling offensive abilities. the letter grade is how good it is at scaling with that stat. So if you have a B in strength, that's way better than having, like, a C. And a D is better than an E. This scales C and D. This scales D and C. Really? Oh, the short sword. Yeah, that would scale D and C. So this one works out better for strength. And then the Astra straight sword is not very good overall, but it might have some hidden bonuses if you fix the right special abilities to it. So you get the ability to enchant things later, and that changes what the scale factors are. Okay, what else can I be doing right now? I'm almost out of Estus again. I have an Estus shard, so I can get another attunement. So the only thing that I could possibly say in terms of getting a gaming PC when you're 15 and, you know, can't get money together for these kinds of things, you know, if you have a use for a gaming PC beyond just gaming, then that often goes a ways. In terms of making the prospect a little more appealing for your parents. Just a little easier for them to consider doing. Let's see. Need to go back up to the thing where the giant monster is waiting for me. Let's bring it. So, like, if you're studying animation... Oh, wait, no, I killed it. If you're studying animation or something, then you basically need a gaming PC, right? If you're studying anything computer graphics related, you basically need a gaming PC. Like, that's more or less my justification for having one, is the fact that as a game developer, it's a work cost having the video card necessary to run things. And when you're playing a build of a game... Oh. Dang it. The heck did I just... Okay, I'm out of charges here. I keep looking over the chat. That might do you. This guy throws firebombs, and would you look at all these barrels stacked up? You can see what he's trying to get at there. He is a jerk. That guy here is a massive jerk, so you just rush him. Yeah, then it might be a few years away for you yet. I mean, your parents do make kind of a point about using money responsibly. A little bit of a personal conversation to get into on a stream, but... Oh, something happened to his voice.
You must be some of that Unkindled Ash.
There we go.
Remarkable. If that's true, then I have a favor to ask. Below the high wall is a musty little town, not the home of any lord, just a very old settlement of undead. An old woman, Loretta, lives there. I'm not asking for charity. In fact, I'll be sure to repay you in kind. I may be a petty thief, but I've more wits than most royalty. What do you say then?
Okay, so I kind of accidentally skipped through it. Basically, he's asking me to give a ring.
Well. I humbly place my faith in you. I am Grey Rat of the undead
to
settlement.
A woman in the lower...
Promise to assist you.
Lower undead settlement.
Give this ring to old Loretta at the base of the high wall. Do your part and I'll do mine.
Grey Rat is a thief. He's going to be very useful. Grey Rat. You know, the thing is, if you go back in time a ways, there is a series called there's a book called The Swords of Lankmar, I believe it is, and there is a character in that called the Grey Mouser, and I wonder if Grey Rat is supposed to be an homage to the Grey Mouser. Now that we've released Grey Rat, let's go back to Firelink. Grey Rat is a prime objective because he is a shopkeeper. Once you release him, he will go back to Firelink, and he will be available to buy and sell things from. And the equipment he gives you is a little bit of a better quality than what you can get from the old crone, at least from the start. Here he is.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. Well, now it's time I do my part. Whatever trinket you need, speak up. Just don't ask me where I got them.
So he's got fire bombs, he's got rope fire bombs, which are able to go a bit farther. He's got some thiefy kinds of weapons. He's got some shields that, basically a lot of this is starting equipment for some other class. The mace is probably one of the best strength weapons you can get in the early game. Swords of Lankmar, yes, it is one of the books that would have inspired Dungeons & Dragons, honestly. It is an old sword and sorcery book. And there's a whole series in that whole setting. So there are certain advantages to the leather armor, which we want to take full advantage of.
Goodbye.
Dragonlance, yeah, that's one of them too. That might be more inspired by Dungeons and Dragons than it inspired Dungeons and Dragons, but Lankmar would be one of the series that specifically inspired Dungeons and Dragons.
Very well, then taken.
Another one would be the Conan the Barbarian series, which is a bunch of short stories by Robert E. Howard. I'm actually going to go ahead and level up Strength this time.
Farewell, Ash, may the flame.
And now to use some of these souls that we've got in our inventory. As you go through the game, you pick up these soul items, or hard souls you might call them, where the souls that you have in your currency counter there are more like soft souls. Those stay with you even if you die, the hard souls, I mean. And so they're kind of a booby prize if you keep dying over and over. You can still pick up a lot of those.
Hello.
So now I want the hard leather armor.
Goodbye.
Hard leather armor is not better in terms of the resistances, but it does have better blunt resistance. It does have better, resistance to most of the magic. And it is lighter. Incrementally lighter, but still lighter. So I tend to prefer using it. It does end up looking better, too, with the helmet. So now I feel a little more confident in trying to take on the Swordmaster. I wonder if there's a good use for the souls I've got, but 600 is not very many souls. Not enough to get tied in knots over, anyway. Oh, you know, I could try and reinforce something. If I reinforce this weapon, then that's a big, that's potentially a big buy. I go through a lot of the game wearing this armor. Time for the Swordmaster. Come on. I gotta be careful because he has a parrying ability. But it doesn't work if you throw fire at him. But you can see that does very little damage. You'll just waste a lot of fire bombs on him. Magic actually ends up working stupendously well. I think I've got it this time. Oh, I don't have it. Don't have it, but it's easy to make up for that one. I've at least got a fighting chance on him now. In fact, I should probably use those souls and see if I can give my weapon a quick upgrade, because any amount of damage would be good. But I'm not all that confident that this is the weapon that I want to stick with. Upgrades consume resources, and... oh, come on. Really? We're doing the fog wall thing again? How about this one? Can I go through this one? Nope. I don't understand what the deal with this fog wall is. Okay. Decided to lift this time. Now, there's a certain angle at which you can jump and land on this thing. Here? Yeah, okay. It's very tricky. But if you can land on that roof with a jump, then you can get some good items. Oh! Oh, I see what I gotta do. Some good items and some good opportunities. But it's not that easy. In fact, I dare say it's almost not worth it for the amount of time it takes to get this right. This is locked. You have to buy the key for about 20,000 souls. It is worth it, though. Oh god, Dark Souls 1 on... So, you need to download DS Fix. Dark Souls 1 is... like, the port for that on PC is really bad. It's not... like, Dark Souls 2 and 3, way better. Just much better PC ports overall. They kind of got the message. And did a lot better quality control. But the PC port for Dark Souls 1 is famously awful. And there's a whole patch called DS Fix that you need to get. And even then, yeah, you don't want to use the mouse and keyboard for it. Let's give him one more try. Bring it. Bring it. Oh, man. Oh, that was the worst possible move I could have done. I turned his normal attack into a falling attack. Alright, I think I'm done trying to do runs at the Swordmaster now. I'll come back at him when my playstyle is a little more solidified. Ugh, we're doing this again. I don't know what the fog wall is for. I don't understand it. I don't see the purpose in this. Why it's there, why it fades away. Is there some online feature or something that's supposed to... Like, I don't get it. It doesn't help that Dark Souls 1 is not all that well optimized on PC. So you're fighting an uphill battle for any kind of performance with it. But when you get... Oh, we got a troll? Oh, hang on. What's up, Bagel Delivery? You here to troll me? If you are, I'm just getting rid of you. Like, I've just got better things to do. Feeling quiet? Okay, but one more smug message and you're out of here. Okay. What was I gonna do? Ah, yeah, reinforcement. You know, it's not worth it to reinforce this weapon, because I'm going to get rid of it. But I'll try reinforcing the shield.
Pretty be careful.
Oh, did I have an undead bone shard? No, I didn't. I did have an Estus shard. Gosh darn it. Sorry for all the running back and forth here, but...
Just wasn't...
My mind is not with me today. There we go.
Pretty...
That's an improvement. So, there's not a whole lot of other things that I can do in Lothric. Tower on the wall? No, I didn't want to go to that one. I wanted to go to the other one. I've got other weapons that I want. I think I want to try and do a strength build this time. But... at the moment... I'm lacking for options other than just persevering forward, so I'm going to go and try for Vort in the valley. Take my free souls, thank you. That guy. I could have dropped on him, but whatever. Isn't there an item buried in there, or did I already get it? And of course, this guy's got to go. And then these guys have to go. Everything must go. Grab this. Take you down. Take you down. Could try to kill that guy, but I don't feel like it. He's just a lot of trouble for not a lot of reward. There is a weapon over there, I think a rapier, which would be nice, but nothing that big or fancy. So, over there is an NPC who tells you to go down there. You can try to go through those Lothric Knights who give me a lot of trouble because my weapon is crap. So I'm not going to bother with them. It's just a lot of trouble for not a lot of reward right now. In a little bit, I'll be able to take those guys down relatively easy, and we'll just have at them in the hope of getting some Lothric Knight equipment, but my main concern is the boss, who is through that door. Any items? Any items? No. Hope my controller doesn't go on the fritz again. It's been kind of blinking in and out. I think the USB slot that I've got it plugged into is losing power or something. It doesn't happen that often, and it hasn't happened anytime it's inconvenient yet. And here is our first boss, Fort. That mace he's got there is a pretty good strength weapon, too. So, the name of the game with this guy is to be up his ass. That is the correct place to stand. Makes him a fairly easy boss to cheese in melee. Come on. He's a much more forgiving boss than he looks like because of how terrible his hitboxes are. Oh crap. I don't have a good path behind him, otherwise I'd take it. That breath will probably freeze you instantly if you get hit by it. Oh, and any hit you take ups your waist. Oh, bad timing. Oh, bad timing. Quick. Yes, okay. Why have I not been two-handing him? The name of the game with this guy is he is so big your shield does not help. So, don't even try to block him. Oh, dang it. I was doing so well up to that point. Me and my big mouth. And back down I go. This is why the shortcut is a really nice thing. If I switch to a weapon that's got better scaling with strength, I might have a better shot at him. Ah. That could have gone better. One thing that's kind of difficult to wean yourself off of is using the lock-on. If you get into group fights, then the lock-on can just kill you, as one guy can kind of lead your attention away from all the others. And then pretty soon you're just dead. Dead. You can see how little value a few hundred souls has. They're that easily replaced. Down a little faster this time. Come on. Come on, you big old monkey. Oh, that was a big no-no. Oh, crap, 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 crap. Oh, crap. That was a big mistake. Crap. No. Death by frostbite. So I'm not really an amazing Dark Souls player. I'm sure there's people out there who can just cream that guy and get a perfect, but I am not one of those people. God damn. Where did that dog come from? Annoying. Oh, my stream is dead. My chat is dead. I mean, something went bad. 1 second. If I haven't been responding in the chat, it's because it just stopped auto-scrolling for a minute. There's no gimmick to this stream, it's just me playing Dark Souls. Although I did start as a deprived. Ah, man. Oh, man. That is the worst. I am embarrassed by how bad that went. Actually gonna go back to the frickin' bonfire. See, I thought that Bagels guy had shut up after I confronted him. I didn't realize he was still talking because the chat stopped scrolling for me. So I actually feel kind of bad now. When in doubt, use the activation animations to your advantage. That, ladies and gents, is why lock-on is not always the best option. Sometimes you just want to aim in a direction and swipe. John, you basically just missed me going through the high wall and opening up a few routes. Okay, 600 souls is not enough to do anything worthwhile, so let's step on through. And face the music yet again. Be the ass. Aw, man. Sometimes dodging does not necessarily get you where you want to be. Oh, man. Oh, man. Might as well drink up while I'm still in phase 1. This is when he's going easy on you. It's always just a little bit of a crapshoot whether or not you're going to do well against a boss like this when you're hopelessly outmatched. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, no, 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 no. Perfect. Yeah, come on. Do the doggy paddle. Nope. Not doing the doggy attack now. I want him to do the doggy attack. If he does the doggy attack, I can get behind him really easy. That's the attack. Please not while I'm at point blank. There we go. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Gotta sit by this bonfire and just have a good old time. Vord is not my favorite boss. Oh, right, I have to talk to the old lady. That's right, she has an item for me to use down here. And that's how I get in the next area. So guess what? Those Lothric Knights, we're going to go through them. We're going to walk through them like they are, well, kindling. Oh, I hate you. Oh, I hate you. There we go. I want to reach my final form. You just sit here and let me. I want to stab you in the back. You just sit here and let me. Oh, I made him mad. Better to fight one knight rather than two. Ah! Ah! Oh, no. When he does that, oh, God. When he does the underhanded swing, that can break your block. When he does the shield bash, that can also break your block. What it all adds up to is a recipe for disaster if you rely too much on blocking with these guys. That's the one. That stance. That is when he is in danger mode. There we go. If I do really, really nicely, then if I'm just very, very lucky, they might drop some wonderful equipment that'll suffice me for most of the game. Oh! That's the ticket. Oh! And again. Much better with the broadsword than it is with the piddly little short sword. Oh no, that's the blue cape. No, 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 no. I don't want to fight him. Not yet. Not yet. Not with him yet. Nope. I mean, I guess there's not that much risk, but these guys are kind of challenging enough. You know, I just might be able to pull it off. What, the backstab? Roll behind and backstab? Yeah. Really? There we go. Crap! Oh, God. Now I'm in a corner. Oh, that was the worst place to die. Why did I do that? Why? Why did I do that, John? Am I an idiot? I might be an idiot. I did completely blow off that poor guy earlier. Not entirely my fault, but eh. Yeah, the Blue Knight is, kind of the equivalent of the Red-Eyed Knights in Demon Souls. Oh, inventory pickup. Why? Why do you betray me? Screw you. And screw you. Time for a tasty beverage. Hit this guy and run. Run, run, run. Come on. Ha-ha! You'll remember this as the day you almost caught Pliskin the Great. Ah! I think I'm getting the hang of these guys now. Hi there. Oh, the backstab. Like I said, not as easy to do in, as it is in Dark Souls 1, but when it works, it makes your life just so much easier. Oh. Oh, I just got his shield. That's badass. Okay, now I mainly want to get those souls back, and they are... Oh, how nice of the game to move them for me. Soften him up a little bit. Get him out in the open where I won't royally die. Oh god. Yes, I will. Enchantment! Crap. He's never done that the last, like, 12 times I've played this. Okay, not doing him right now. If I couldn't do him then I'm not going to be able to do him, It's not going to be worth it. It'll be a Pyrrhic victory if I manage to pull it off. Let's focus on getting into some gear that doesn't suck. Because this sword is not the greatest in the world. Bad tracking? No problem. At Backstabs Are Us, we bring the savings to the customer. Okay, I'm just wasting firebombs now. Uh-oh. Am I hearing that right? Thought I heard his friend coming behind him. Don't even want to chance it, so I'm luring him even lower. It's over, Lothric Knight! I have the... Oh, I don't. The high ground is useless! The ones with swords are a lot more challenging because they're just so much quicker. And they aren't as prone to overextending themselves. Even with a less fancy shield, the sword knights are just a lot tougher. Come on. Ah! Just a tap, that's all I want. If I parry properly, then I could actually take him down really easily, but parrying is not that amazing of an option in this game, I don't find. All the Titanfall 1 doc free? You mean the documentation, the game design documents? Oh, DLC free. Not doc free, DLC. Alright, let's get on with the game.
Ah, the wait has been long, Unkindled.
You're another one of those women from Dark Souls 2, aren't you?
Priestess of Lothric Castle. Allow me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. To their journey...
Ah, yeah, I get it.
This farewell... It is... If you feel an egg and the...
I didn't feel like going through there. Not today, lady. I've heard the exposition fairy enough for now. Plus, it's stuff we... Oh! Lothric Knight Sword and Ember. Let's see what I need for the Lothric Knight Sword. I need my dexterity way higher, and I need my, well, basically I just need my dexterity way higher. So the Lothric Knight Sword is one of the most versatile weapons in the... Very funny, Sean. I already made that joke earlier. The Lothric Knight Sword is one of the most versatile weapons in the game for quite some time. Raise the banner! It's a banner with a big ring on it, and what does it do? The same thing that the big ring did in the other game. Summons 3 horrible gargoyles to carry you off. I don't know if we ever end up fighting these guys. It'd be neat if we ever did. But in all the Let's Plays I've seen of this game, I've not seen them fought. But then there is a substantial portion of the game that I fall asleep through when they Let's Play it. Okay, any items? Any items over here? Anything? Yes, there's an item. Psycho Mantis. Metal Gear. Okay. So the first thing to know about this part is to run straight through. Forget all conventional wisdom. The dogs are pre-programmed to go after these guys, who are all worthless. If you don't run straight through there, then that gate will close, and you have to, I think, wait for them to open it again. And now behind here, more dogs! It's a trap. You go around this corner, you get attacked, and all you get for your trouble is an alluring skull. But what's down here is a little bit more interesting.
Please, grant me death. Undo my shackles.
One of them isn't dead. I'm not dead. He isn't. He will be any minute now. I'm not. I think I could go for a walk.
Oh. Oh, then it's true. A champion of Ash as I live and breathe. To be in your presence is a great honor. I am Yol of Londor, a pilgrim, as you can see, only...
Getting a little close here, Yol.
I failed to die as was ordained. Well, perhaps my calling lies elsewhere.
Oh, there goes my controller again.
Champion of Ash. How does the idea of taking me into your service strike you? I was once a sorcerer. Surely I can be of use. Oh, I am honored. Truly, I should be dead. Yet you have granted me purpose anew. I, Yol of Londor, do solemnly swear myself to you.
Welcome aboard, Yol. The Firekeeper has your onboard package. Welcome package, that is. So these are the pilgrims. The pilgrims of Londor. And most of them, as you can see, are dead. What exactly they were on pilgrimage for is a little bit of a mystery. Yol is the first sorcery merchant that you get in the game. And like all the other merchants, he goes back to the Firelink Shrine. Anor Londo would be more of a ripoff of London, Ethan. Not so much Gondor. Londor, at least, is heavily implied to be Anor Londo, which is a city in the first Dark Souls. So now I've got 5,000 souls I'm sitting on top of. I might as well use them, right? Anor Londo is the city of the gods. Or I should say the city of the lords. So either I want to talk to her, or... yeah, I want to talk to her.
Speak. Very well, then take...
So, the sword was an appealing item. Let's see what other items I can pick up before I do that. Go over to Grey Rat first.
Oh, hello, you're abandoned.
Okay, I can actually afford the mace now. I also have some options in terms of shields that could be interesting. Good stability is kind of what I'm after. Let's get the mace. Let's go all in on strength. And the kite shield, maybe. I'm not sure it's any better than any of the shields we've got.
Oh, this place is a bore.
Interesting. I've never had him say that before.
Just wasn't it?
Reinforced weapon. I probably don't have enough Titanite shards to be able to reinforce anything. I've only got one.
Pretty be careful.
Spelunky? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe the next time I stream, I'll kick that up just for you, Ethan. I didn't especially feel like doing it right now. I kind of have to get myself in a certain mood for that one. Way of White Circlet? Oh yeah, that. Let's see, Soul of a Desert Corpse, use that. The Hyperlight Drifter thing wasn't really a stream that I was trying to organize so much as I wanted to play a game and share it with one of my friends. His name is Adam. That's the other guy who was talking on that stream. And that's kind of why I had the streaming system set up to begin with, was just to play games and share them with Adam. But it turns out a couple of people like to watch them.
Welcome home, Ashen One. Speak very well. Then
let's level it up. I will want more endurance, for sure. And I will want more strength, for sure.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the...
Now... Mace. You'll be amazed how much more damage this thing does, especially if we manage to upgrade it. And then there's Yol. Yol has an interesting option for us.
Oh, our champion of Ash.
Too close.
Welcome home.
You notice how his hood resembles a,
with a debt in death, hardly deserves to behold this divine flame.
Thanks, Yol. You're
and I
a little bit too...
have, had you not taken me into your service.
A little bit too kind.
I thank you dearly for this, and assure you of my leal service.
Could you say that in a way that's not...
As I have said, I was once a sorcerer. Alas, the magic of Londor is a far cry from the wonders of Vinheim. But I can teach you what I know. Perhaps, more importantly, I believe that I can help tease out your true strength. We pilgrims of Londor are keenly aware that those branded by the dark sign possess something quite special. Then shall we begin? Bearer of the dark sign, let your true strength shine.
So, Yol can give you a free level. In exchange for the free level, though, you get the Dark Sigil, which will cause you to go steadily more hollow. I think another point in Vigor would be good. Or maybe luck. Item discovery is always nice. Vitality, though, that could be nice. A little bit of extra defense. A little bit of extra equip load. No, not the dark side. The dark sign. The dark sign. Let's go with Vigor. Let's just get some more HP.
Be safe, champion of Ash.
Dark and light in this game have a very different relationship. So I'll show you. That is the dark sign. The dark sign is the sign of an accursed undead. The dark sign returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, or the bonfire at Firelink Shrine, but at the cost of all souls held. Carriers of the dark sign are reborn after death, and eventually lose their minds, turning hollow. And so it is that they are driven from their homelands. That is what the dark sign is. It is the mark of the undead curse. And undead does not mean the same thing in this game that it does everywhere else. It doesn't necessarily mean you turn into a zombie. It means that you cannot die. You are more like an... Oh, hello!
Unkindled, are we? And fast on the trail of the Lords absconded? Then these red eyes are for you.
Cracked red-eye orb? Why, thank
Use
you.
them to pillage embers and briefly heighten your strength for your duty. What else are unkindled ashes good for? Pillage embers for briefly heightened strength. What else?
So, anyway. They're a lot more like the immortals from Highlander, where they keep killing each other to take one another's strength, and that strength is yielded in the form of souls, which are the currency of the game. The goal of every undead, unbeknownst to them, is to link the fire. The fire being the first flame, the first ever fire of the world. In the beginning, the world was all gray, and there were huge, mighty arch trees and everlasting dragons, and then fire appeared, the first flame. And from that flame is where the humanoid entities, the zombie-like creatures that were to become humanity, found souls. There were 4 unique souls in that fire. There was the Lord Soul possessed by Gwyn, who was the Lord of Sunlight, the Soul of Death by the Grave Lord Nito, the Soul of what we would call Chaos, or the Soul of Life, which was found by the Witch of Izalith, and then one more soul found by a creature that they called Pygmy. That soul is the Dark Soul. It is the opposite of Gwyn's Lord's Soul. Instead of being one big mighty soul, it was one tiny little soul that could reproduce endlessly and overtake the earth. That was the Dark Soul. And so every human has a little fragment of the original Dark Soul inside them. And because of this, Gwyn was afraid of them, that their power would one day overtake his. And so he branded them with the Dark Sign, which cursed them to become immortal undead. They would accumulate, they would fight amongst themselves, and the undead would be charged with becoming collectors of souls. They would go around, collect a ton of souls, and eventually they would go to rekindle the first flame on the day that it faded, offering up themselves and the souls they collected as kindling. And that is what these guys, these Lords of Cinder, did. Each one of them is someone who once linked the fire when it faded. Countless eons passed since the original linking of the fire in Dark Souls, and now we are at the very end of the world, when everything has gone absolutely to shit. The fire has gotten weaker with every linking, and now it takes these lords sitting on their thrones and us to rekindle the first flame. And that is essentially the idea behind this. It is a neat monomyth that the Dark Souls series has kind of created, and a very depressing one. So what else have we got for items? We've kind of used our souls up. Let's see. I might as well equip this. So darkness doesn't mean necessarily dark, like Sauron or like the dark side of the Force, although there are some connotations of corruption that come with it. Rather, it is representative of the power of humanity. Humanity is dark. The Dark Soul is that of humans. It is a unique trait to human beings. Oh, I forgot I was using the mace. The mace is a good deal slower, but it will give us a lot more bang as we start to level up strength. Hang on 1 second, guys. Ah, goodness. I'll need to go upstairs in a minute, but I can at least finish a couple of things here. Soul sacrifice? I don't know what that is. Yeah, you thought you could get the jump on me, huh? So the mace is a lot slower, but it is also very, very strong. And as we level up strength, as we just dump points and points and points into strength, it will do a ton of damage. Oh no, I'm only gonna go away for like 15 minutes. I need to walk my dog. It'll be a good point for a, it'll be a good point for a pee break for me as well, I think. But that's all it is just like 15 minutes and then I'll be back. And here we are in the Undead Settlement, the most Bloodborne looking place ever. What does it say about this game that it is deliberately clumsy, but it handles better than The Force Unleashed by a long shot? Okay. So that big old woman there, standing right next to the fire, is going to be a problem. She's kind of nasty. These guys are nothing. They are less than nothing. They die in 2 hits. Look, there went 2 of them. She is a living nightmare. Oh, God. She gives free hugs, too. She is a giant sponge of meat. Oh, God. And she hits like a truck. Yeah, that's right. Back right up. Oh, oh, no, 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 no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't, no, no, no. Oh, bad hug. Yeah, this game is more stable than The Force Unleashed 2. Like, a lot of things run better than The Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed 2 is really awful. It just crashes on startup. I couldn't get it to run at all. Funny, I was dissing that broadsword, but I might want a lighter weapon back pretty soon. What's over here? Oh, it's you. So this is where you've been hiding yourself. Well. I've never been in that little nook before. Oh yeah, that lady just lunges at you. The Force Unleashed 2 runs a lot better than the Force Unleashed 1 when you get it to run. On console, yes, it is a vastly superior overall set of mechanics to the Force Unleashed 1. The problem is that it's also ludicrously short. It's less like they made a full-length game and more like they made a tech demo so that the team that was about to get fired would have something cool to show for a demo reel. It's not quite a full-length game, is the problem. But it does run an awful lot better on 360. Okay, I'm out of bombs now, so now I gotta take these guys out the hard way. This mace will make even really big guys stagger. So it is a lovely weapon. Basically, if you're in the middle of your swing first, when they try to come at you, you win. And that's how this mace works. See what I mean? Okay, lady. Okay. That little, globby thing causes bleed damage, and a lot of it. Doesn't hurt you much on impact, but the bleed will kill you. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh, God. Oh, God. Bad hugs. Bad hugs. Like, even she'll flinch a little bit when I go at her with this mace.
Oh, cleanse the bastard's curse.
Oh. Yeah, Ethan does a lot of emulating. You going down. Want to get to at least one bonfire here before I start. Before I head off to walk the dog. Go, got you guys. Now that area is cleared out. My goal is eventually to get a certain enhancement on this mace. There's the sharp enhancement, which makes dexterity scaling better, and there is the hard enhancement, which makes strength scaling better. If I give this thing really great strength scaling, then ho-ho-ho. This actually becomes like a top 10 kind of weapon. Go back to Bloodborne. We have shields that work in this game. You're gone. You're gone. Large soul of a deserted corpse. There's going to be a guy with a flamberge here. That takes care of him. That immediately gives us access to this area. This isn't really much of a shortcut, but it does get you to a bonfire really quickly. Bonfire Blitz, that's the name of the game. Forget those guys, forget that area. Go down here. Drop down here into this little cave instead of dealing with those guys throwing fire bombs at you. That whole area is just littered with barrels. It'll just burn you to death every time you walk in there. Screw it. Light this bonfire. And the hell of it is, I still have to go through the other direction in this level because there's a door I can't get through from this route. But I'll tell you what I can do. I can kill both these guys. Can kill this guy.
Aha, unkindled, are we?
Yes.
Welcome to my abode.
You appear to be in dire straits.
I am Cornix, an old pyromancer.
Hey, could you stop it over there? We're trying to have a conversation.
As you see, now. But here we are. An encounter for the ages.
You have a popped collar, sir.
I hear the unkindled make for fine vessels. Care to learn some pyromancies from this old man?
Absolutely.
Most wise. To reiterate, I am called the Pleasant.
Yeah. Go on back to the Firelink Shrine. Okay, we've got that guy now. Got another one of these guys, and... oh, God. Just kill that guy. This dude is going to be a problem. No! Yep, that guy just tried to kill me with a bowl. Got my firebomb back. What else could I try to do? Could try to blitz through there and go to that tower. In fact, I think I will. There's a reason for this. There's a reason for everything. Three hits and gone. Run. Oh, God. Yeah, they throw those at you. Oh, God. Come on. Run. Cue Benny Hill music. Nope. Hey, you there, could you help me out? Onion bro? No, of course not. But I can at least take one of these guys. So when they've got the saw out, they're a good deal worse. This one seems strangely non-aggressive. Oh, thank goodness. Cool. What's up, Onion Bro? Do you need some help there, or?
Oh. Pardon me, I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegwart of Katarina. To be honest, I'm in a bit of a pickle.
I can actually see his eyes underneath that helmet.
Have you ever walked near a white birch only to be struck by a great arrow?
I can't say that I actually have in this playthrough.
If I'm not mistaken, they come from this tower. Whoever it is, I'm sure I can talk some sense into them. But I have to find a way up. And that's just the trouble. Well, that doesn't get...
The old elevator hidden on top of an elevator trick. Yep. This was a real puzzler the first time I went through this, but after a while it felt pretty obvious. So, those playing the home game don't know this, but this giant here, this stout fellow, shoots arrows down at a tree somewhere over there. I wonder if I can see it from up here. There it is. That white birch over there. Can you see it? Up. Nope. Anywhere that there's a white birch, he'll fire arrows at. In fact, there's the Great Cathedral, too. That has a white birch, and he shoots arrows at that, too.
Who are you? I help anytime.
From now on, he won't shoot those arrows at us. He'll shoot them only at enemies. Which is a big help. We've just disabled one of the most deadly traps in the game. Oh no, I'm not fighting that golem. That guy's my buddy. I'll show you what I will fight, though. Whoop. Went the wrong way. Although the thing is, I need a bonfire. Need to find another bonfire. I'm going through this at a way lower level than the last time I played through. I'm kind of amazed. Oh no, that giant is going to help me out a lot. You'll understand in a little bit. When I go back through all the shit that I just skipped. This is how it works with me, though. I do the bonfire blitz. Open the shortcuts. Go through the bonfires. Skip the nasty ice enemy. MGS4 plays more like the first Metal Gear Solid games. It plays like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, mostly. Like, especially more like Metal Gear Solid 3, if you're doing the behind-the-shoulder perspective instead of the over-the-head perspective. That's the game where they switched wholesale to behind-the-shoulder. Yeah, you might not know about this, John, but Metal Gear Solid 3 had a toggle for over-the-shoulder and over-the-head. So now we've skipped an entire area. I kind of wonder how I'm going to do in this one. Because I'm way low level for this. Can I beat this guy? These guys are horrible. I don't know what it is with FromSoft and Screeching Crow monsters, but it's like a supersized version of the ones from Bloodborne. The name of the game is to bum rush them and kill them before they can fully sprout. And try not to get more than one at a time. Okay, so it's actually fairly plausible to get through here. I'm kind of amazed. But I don't really want to go through that one yet. Come on, come on. Alright. Rest my hooves at the bonfire. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close down the stream for a little bit. I'm going to take my doggy out. And then I will start it back up. Probably for a little while longer. But this stream has gone on for almost 3 hours. I've managed to spend a good deal of time with this one. You know, I might actually end it here. This might be enough for today. What do you guys think? Pick it up tomorrow? What time? Whenever I get time, man, but it'll be in the evening. Says this started 31 minutes ago. It might have split it into 2 videos then. You know what? Yeah, let's close it down for here. This has been a really, really good start to this playthrough. Alright, so to recap what we've done today. We started with a deprived, a lowly deprived. In the span of about 3 hours, we got through the High Wall of Lothric. We didn't beat the Undead Settlement, but we did clear the tower, get to the giant, and get him to stop firing arrows, which is helpful. We have established a good number of the bonfires in the Undead Settlement. There's one more to get. Yeah, I won't forget about Spelunky, Ethan. Maybe I'll warm up with that one next time. Maybe I should keep it. Maybe I should stick with one game at a time. Like tomorrow I'll do Dark Souls again, and then maybe sometime this weekend I'll do Spelunky. But I do have it installed just for you. Let's see here. So apart from that checklist of items we've done, we've gotten all the way to the Road of Sacrifices. And we could delve further into it even. I'm at about the level of strength that my cleric character is, at a much lower level. And I've still got a lot of leveling up that I can do. Oh, of course I've played Spelunky. I've played it for hours already. Years ago, man. I played the original version of Spelunky, as opposed to the Steam version. Like, I have a friend named, well, I won't give her name out. I have a friend who is a really, really big Spelunky buff, and she has put in probably 1,000 hours playing it. She's the kind of person who can speedrun it. It's crazy. She was in, like, top 100 territory, I think, on the scoreboard. I will never be as good as her at that game. Never. But anyway, I think that's. I think we'll leave it here for the night. Oh no, she doesn't. She's very private. She doesn't give out her contact information. Anyway, I will see you guys another time. Cheers.